Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. So one of the easiest things to do when you don't know what to wear is open up Pinterest and hope that some sort of inspiration just slaps you across the face. And that worked for me for a long time, but recently I feel like it just hasn't been hitting the same. And granted, that could be because I have just drowned mine out with wedding inspiration. But even before that, I felt like I was kind of steering away from that and over to Xiaohongshu instead, or also known as Little Red Book. I did briefly mention this app before when I was talking about some of my favorite sources when it comes to style inspo, but it is just so good it deserved its own video. It's a Chinese platform that has a similar vibe to Instagram, but the homepage reads more like Pinterest, which for my personal taste, I just find easier to navigate. I mean, I guess regardless, it comes back down to your algorithm, but I don't know, I just feel like Pinterest has more of an emphasis on like the relaxed, effortless, cool girl sort of style, whereas on Xiaohongshu, I find it a little bit more relatable because there's a lot more layering and accessorizing. One negative I got to admit though is that it will make you want to book a flight to China immediately and spend all of your money shopping. Like, I think my favorite accounts to follow on there aren't actually influencers, but vintage stores, because the visual merchandising is top tier. Unfortunately, no travel plans as of yet, but with today's video sponsor, I am able to unblock content from around the world whilst keeping myself safe online. Of course, it's award-winning VPN Surfshark. Surfshark is a virtual private network available to download now as an app or browser extension. All it takes is a couple of quick and easy clicks to ensure your peace of mind while browsing. They'll protect all of your personal data by encrypting the information sent between your device and the internet. That means no more companies and bots keeping tabs on you. You can also use the clean web feature to prevent ads, tracking, malware, and phishing attempts. I don't know about you, but I'm actually worse than an iPad kid. I'm talking I need a few devices going at one time, which is perfect because Surfshark actually offers unlimited devices under just one account, so you always feel that sense of security. And of course, you can also change your virtual location, allowing you to access and unblock content from different countries, which is an absolute must for me when I'm traveling because I cannot miss an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, which I watch on Stan, which is only available in Australia. But of course, might also come in handy if the streaming services in your region aren't exactly giving. You can try it all risk-free for yourself because Surfshark offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and if you use my code SPOTLIGHT, you'll score an exclusive deal. At the moment, they're offering 4 extra months for free. There's some quick links on the screen and also more information in the description box. Going through my likes to pick out what outfits I actually want to recreate, I realized I've already been subconsciously influenced with today's look, but I actually want to tweak it to make it a little bit more similar to the original because I do think that looks better. This sheer dress is almost exactly the same, and it's been on my wish list for well over 6 months at this point, simply because of the amount of times I saw it pop up on this app. And since it was still in my mind for that long, I was like, okay, I think it is a worthy purchase. I will say I found it a little bit tricky figuring out what silhouette to wear on the bottoms. And I feel like the jeans today are like a little bit too fitted. So switching it out for the maxi skirt hopefully is gonna work. Honestly, I was already doubting the hat that I had on before. So I think it's a good thing that we're changing that. Majority of my likes probably do feature a hat. I'm just a hat enthusiast, I guess. I feel like a lot of the time on TikTok, there's one, maybe 2 hats that might be popular and you don't see anything else, whereas I love that I can find inspo for pretty much any hat that I own, even if they haven't been trending for years and years. This is what I mean by I physically just do not have it in me to be effortless. I put the sneakers on already outside my comfort zone because to me, this is a walking shoe, not a stylistic choice, but peep the little bit of pink in it. I'm like, okay, need to carry that on throughout the entire outfit, even though that's not part of the original reference image. But I feel like the colors still complement each other. The look overall, I'm still kind of on the fence about, but I think that's the purpose of these sort of videos is you are kind of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. And if nothing else, I'm definitely taking on board the tip of a long dress over a long skirt. I think that's just a fun way to switch up the mini skirt over pants trend, which I still love very dearly and you'll probably see later on in this video. I don't need to get on here and tell you again how plaid obsessed I am, so obviously it's no surprise that this particular skirt keeps popping up on my For You page. Love the concept of each tier being a different color of plaid, and as someone with such a vast collection, I knew I'd be able to DIY this myself. I think 3 layers is going to make the most sense, mini, midi, maxi. It's just about choosing which ones clash in a complimentary way, if that makes any sense. This definitely wouldn't have been my first thought, just to style it with a plain gray tee. Like, I understand the concept of, oh, the skirt's very loud, so let's keep everything else more on the simple side. But I guess the way that my brain works, I'm like, oh, we need to balance it out, otherwise things are gonna look too lopsided. Surprisingly though, I do kind of like it. I think maybe just one more accessory. I decided on this little beanie because there was actually another girl who was styling the skirt with a similar hat wear situation, and ideally I would have the iconic Vivienne Westwood one because it just sits a lot nicer. This one, I don't know, I have to awkwardly tie it up. Actually, in a recent video, someone said it was giving the female version of Shein. I think that's the biggest compliment I've ever had, so I'm trying to channel that more from now on. Slip dresses are just so easy to thrift. I had collected my fair share over the years, but I just never really found myself reaching for them, so I got rid of a ton in my wardrobe declutter. Of course, I hung on to this one because she is gorgeous. I have two looks that I'm debating between. The first one is giving very, I don't know, like 2016. I swear I would have worn something just like this, and honestly, I'm not mad about bringing it back, but I think I want to go with the other option today just because it's a little bit more interesting. Like, I wouldn't have come up with it on my own despite the fact that I already have pretty much all of the same items. We're gonna layer on these black tailored shorts and then just a casual gray tee. I also happen to have a super similar little chain belt. The issue is my slip dress is obviously a lot longer than hers, so first I'm gonna take just any old skinny belt. It doesn't actually matter because you won't see it. That way I'm just able to shimmy it until it's at the desired length, which means now I can actually add the chain belt without it just disappearing. There's really not that much going on in terms of accessories. I've just got my Mary Janes teamed with my tie-up socks. I also added a similar bright pink keychain to the bag, but I feel like it's kind of distracting. I don't know, I'm not sold on it. And obviously her head's cut off in the original image, so I just had to go rogue with the hairstyle choice, but I think this one complements nicely. And I don't know, I feel like adding the glasses almost ties in the vibe of the more tailored, studious shorts, if you will. Honestly, this is one of the ones I was most skeptical on because it just feels so random, but I am very pleasantly surprised. It's also super comfortable. Like, I could definitely see myself wearing this even in the summer, which is a big win because we know how hard it can be to dress in the warmer weather. So nothing new, but still some of my favorite trends at the moment is putting all the trinkets and keychains on bags, and then also the kind of tool belt apron sort of look as well. So obviously a no-brainer to combine the two. I have dabbled in this in a more simple, demure way, but I came across this photo with all the plushies and I was like, say less. Clearly, I'm not doing enough. So I'm not necessarily taking inspiration from the overall outfit because I don't have similar pieces. It's really just that concept of the belt. And I'm going to be combining it with another inspiration picture with the double denim apron. I'm going with just the classic eyelet belt because obviously that's going to give us more options when it comes to attaching things. On second thought, all plushies feels like a lot. So I don't know if I want to commit to that or maybe just sprinkle in a couple of other keychains as well. I think this is really just going to be trial and error. All right, I think I'm happy enough with this current arrangement. The issue now is how the hell do we style it? I'm thinking we kind of need to keep up the playful sort of energy. It is almost reminiscent of something you would have seen in like old school fruits magazines. So I'm trying to channel that a little bit. This is what I've settled on. Rather than fruits, I feel like it is kind of giving 2000s Disney Channel if they were even more batshit insane than they already were with the styling. Like a super turned up version of London Tipton. That could just be the beret though. Unlike some of the other looks today, this isn't exactly the most wearable, but I do still love it. I think it would look great in photos, and I guess it would work if you had the right occasion to wear it to. It would also probably translate really well into like a cutesy caricature drawing, which is actually another thing I wanted to take inspiration from today because I have so many illustrations in my likes that have such a cool emphasis on the fashion. Unfortunately, a lot of my favorites I don't think I could recreate with what I already have in my wardrobe, but there are a couple of options I think we can make work. I have a top in pretty much this exact silhouette, but I do feel like I need to prioritize the color rather than the shape. So instead, I'm opting for this one. It's such a simple look, just teamed with the voluminous mini skirt. They have also added a dress underneath, which I like how that adds the bow detail to the shoulder, so I do want to try and add one more layer. What I found interesting though was their choice of footwear, because fair enough, they've gone for a popper color, but decided on red, which I feel like green and red is something that people steer clear of a lot because it does just kind of read Christmassy. But I think it's time we just get over that, because why can't it be serving strawberry? cherry, which clearly is the agenda I am not so subtly pushing by having all the little fruit motifs in the look. Trust me, if this is acceptable, I would definitely be carrying around this cute little strawberry themed sugar jar. You can't tell me it doesn't complete the look. I have that problem so much. Like sometimes I wish I could just carry around the angel blue clock or the little Pinky Street figures, but I feel that would be a tad bit too crazy, wouldn't it? As much as I love wearing color, I do feel like I kind of tend to stick to what I know, but the algorithm has blessed me with so many incredible combinations recently. Originally, I really wanted to try and recreate this pink and brown look, but I just don't have the right items to pull it off. So I think we're gonna end up taking inspiration from another illustration. And in a way, a lot of the styling elements are reminiscent of the original image anyway. So I think this is gonna be our starting point. I really love these pants, and the fact that they have a pattern is gonna come in handy because I think everything else is probably gonna be a solid color. Our next choice is just deciding which mint top we want to team them with. If we're leaning towards the IRL picture, then obviously the button-up makes more sense. The illustration looks more cardigan, bolero adjacent. Obviously this option is taking up too much of the white shirt. So instead I'm just gonna style it by not putting my head through the hole. Obviously that means we have like an awkward cutout in the back, but we're just gonna roll with it. We also need a mini skirt. It would be way too hard to try and match the exact color of the pants unless magically it came in a matching set. So rather than try and get it close but not exact, I think it's better just to deliberately opt for a different shade. I don't know if this ended up being the best pant and skirt combo to layer. Something about the fit might just be slightly off, but overall I still like the idea of the look, I guess. Kind of reminds me of the sort of thing you would see new jeans styled in. It has that real playful energy, but still just looks very, very comfortable. Like, it's bordering on pajamas, I think. Like I mentioned before, a lot of my favorite accounts to follow are actually stores because I love to see how they style the mannequins. I think this is actually really helpful if you're someone who struggles with constant comparison because it helps you really focus in on just the outfit. It's not about how the person looks. You're not envious of the hair and the makeup. It's not about how the person is posed or even the location they're in. So yeah, mannequins are great for that, but also accounts that focus on flat lays or even people who do like the old school polyvore sort of outfits. Also along those lines, I specifically like vintage stores because I feel like that takes the temptation of, oh, I can just purchase that exact item and then of course I'm gonna look the same. Obviously if it's secondhand, it's not as easily accessible. So off the bat, you already know that, okay, my outfit isn't gonna look exactly the same. My number one go-to is still LRFvintage. Like I challenge you to find an account that styling is more up my alley than this. So obviously it was hard for me to narrow it down, but I decided on this particular image because I felt like I could recreate both mannequins' looks. And I guess once again, just drawn in by the color combo because I love this butter yellow teamed with the pink. I didn't have a floral in a similar length or shade, but I think I almost prefer what I ended up going with. I don't know, I just feel like it's slightly less picnic and more fashion. Usually I just throw on my skinny scarf, but I actually think the bow is indeed the cherry on top here. The second look on the other hand strips back all color, but I actually love it equally. These flowy wide skirts have been a staple for literal years, but I do feel like they've become more and more popular over the last 12 months. A lot of the time being styled in an ultra femme way, myself included with the shoujo girl dressing, but finding fresh inspiration on those more everyday staple pieces is one of the best things. At least for me, it helps me stay out of a style rut and in love with my wardrobe for longer. Obviously your likes are going to be biased, so it is no surprise that I have plaid and also camo for days, but it can actually be helpful to just go through your likes every now and again and see if there's any key patterns, not as in prints, but as in like key themes that are emerging. For example, something that I didn't even register that I was into until filming this video was a lot of button-up shirts with a t-shirt styled over the top. I do already have plenty of button-ups in my wardrobe, but if I didn't, this would be a great indication that maybe that's something worth investing in. And on the other hand, there might be an outfit that you absolutely love, can't stop thinking about, but when you take a closer look, it is very much an outlier. There's nothing else similar in your likes. For me personally, that typically means it's a style that I can appreciate on others, but might not necessarily like wearing myself. With all that being said, I think I want to try and tackle this particular look because it features both the camo and the layered button-up. Despite having a decent amount of camo, it's a bit of a Goldilocks situation. I don't actually have a pair of shorts like hers. I think the top contender is going to be this skirt. I can always hike it up to sit more around the knee length. Otherwise, I do have these capris, but they are very much low rise and a little bit more fitted. So I don't know, I think it might just throw the silhouette silhouette off a little bit too much. So these are my two shirt options. One is lighter and a more structured sort of silhouette, whereas the other is a lot more flowy. The outer layer also comes with two options, either the more traditional baby tee or this kind of low scooping vest. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize my mic was dead, so I am just coming in with a voiceover, but pretty much I was explaining that I was really struggling with the shoe choice. I think what she had would be considered more of a hiking shoe, which I felt really grounded the look and made it more relaxed, whereas I had to opt for Converse and leg warmers, which I don't hate it, but I do feel like it changed the overall vibe of the outfit. Looking back at the footage now, I should have just completely disregarded what she was wearing on her feet and gone with my gut, which probably would have been like a chunky black boot. And I think I would have liked the outfit much better then. Hopefully you enjoyed today's style inspo and feel compelled to play around in your own wardrobe now, or at the very least discovered a new app to scroll through. And speaking of apps, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, Surfshark. All of the links and details are down below in the description box, along with all of the outfit details from today. And I'd love to hear from you on what you thought were the most successful outfit recreations today, or just any style inspos that you've been feeling recently. Otherwise, hopefully I'll be seeing you again really, really soon. Bye.